We all want our teams inside of the organization to work well together. That goes without saying. However, that is the most difficult thing to do. As managers, as supervisors, as executives, it's very difficult. Oftentimes, we fall into the trap of simply telling people, just get to work. Y'all just work it out, get together, and put that game plan together and just make it work. And so we think that by simply saying that over and over again, that's somehow going to happen, and yet we fall into, I think it was Einstein who said the definition of insanity is doing things over and over again and still getting the same results. So we have to change our paradigm. We have to change the way we think about collaboration. We have to change the expectations of collaboration. And what I mean by that is we have to stop hiring people and think that they all know how to collaborate. That is one of the most difficult things individuals do, and it's very hard to achieve. So if you don't have a structure of collaboration within your organization, it's going to be difficult for those that do know how to collaborate because the structure is broken. There's not an environment of communication. There's not an open communication. There's no real safe places where you can have honest, tough disagreements, where you can challenge the bosses, where the bosses can challenge each other, where the team members can come together and throw ideas out and have those ideas respected, validated, refined, executed, and everybody agree that, okay, we made a decision, let's now execute together. All those elements of collaboration, which we all want, usually fall apart because the structure's not there. So what is the structure? The structure is critically important to set up. You have to have an understanding of what those meetings are, but you have to have a certain attitude, a certain commitment to having an environment, a culture of accountability, a culture of teamwork, a culture of follow through. And so I've said a lot of words here that hopefully you're striving for, and you're hoping, man, Maurice, I really hope you get more into the detail of what each one of these things is, because by just simply speaking platitudes and calling out names of things that need to be done, then I'm not really helping you out. So how do you do this? How do you build collaboration? So what we've done here is, we've built a program based around a simple idea, and that is this, is that if people know that they have to go into a future and upcoming meeting where that topic or those topics are going to be discussed in a really good environment, then I know I have to come into that meeting with accountability. I have to be ready to participate. I have to be ready to be held accountable for the things I said last week. And we're all going to have the same playing field where we can have an honest dialogue about the project, about the ideas, about the solutions, and where we can bring up everything. It's a real simple concept which I call the rhythm of meetings. It's a rhythm, and it's an accountability structure that says we have certain meetings set up throughout our calendar where we talk about the whole of the business at the executive level, at the middle level, at the frontline level, and things move up and down, and we're pretty much committed to doing that. All right, and that structure is what gives it meaning. That structure is what gives it purpose. That structure is what it gives an environment of open communication, of good dialogue, where you can build a really good collaborative, good thriving teamwork culture. All right, so as we were putting this program together several years ago, I was just happened to be watching the internet, and on YouTube I came across an interview with Steve Jobs about a year before he died, and it's a 2.5 hour interview. We're not going to watch the 2.5 hours, but in it there is a 2-minute segment, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, in which he kind of pauses the interview, and he says, well, let me tell you how it is that we make all this happen at Apple. And then he opens the curtains for 2 minutes, and he explains how it is that he works at Apple and how they're structured at Apple. Now, if you've ever followed or ever done some research into Steve Jobs, he did this in all the companies that were very successful. And if you study businesses, you pretty much realize what he said is what's often referred to as best business practices. So the rhythm of meeting is a best business practice, but then you can't just say that. You have to really explain, well, the attitude about coming into these meetings and actually what happens at these meetings to create solutions, solve problems, great ideas together. So in these 2 minutes, I was shocked, I was floored. But see, he says it so much better than I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this clip of Steve Jobs where he explains what great collaboration is, and then we're going to dissect this and work and define each element. There's 9, 10, 12 great points that he makes. So throughout this show, make sure you hang in, because every segment, we're going to break it down to what he says. All right, so let's listen to Steve and let's hear what he has to say about how they work at AppWin, the whole concept of collaboration. And notice he starts by saying this works at startups. You don't have to be a big company. You do this assuming you're a small company and you operate as a well-oiled fine machine at a startup level. Here we go.
Apple's an incredibly collaborative company. And so, you know how many committees we have at Apple?
No.
0. We have no committees.
No committee.
We are organized like a startup. One person's in charge of iPhone OS software. One person's in charge of Mac hardware. One person's in charge of iPhone hardware engineering. Another person's in charge of worldwide marketing. Another person's in charge of operations. We all meet for 3 hours once a week, and we talk about everything we're doing, the whole business. And there's tremendous teamwork at the top of the company, which filters down to tremendous teamwork throughout the company. And teamwork is dependent on trusting the other folks to come through with their part without watching them all the time, but trusting that they're going to come through with their parts. And that's what we do really well. And we're great at figuring out how to divide things up into these great teams that we have and all work on the same thing, touch bases frequently, and bring it all together into a product. We do that really well. And so what I do all day is meet with teams of people and work on ideas and solve problems to make new products, to make new marketing programs, whatever it is.
And are people willing to tell you you're wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, other than snarky journalists. I mean, people that work.
Oh, yeah. No, we have wonderful arguments.
And do you win them all? Or?
Oh, no, I wish I did. No, see, you can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win.
So,
otherwise, good people don't stay.
But you must be more than a facilitator who runs meetings. You obviously contribute your own ideas.
I contribute ideas, sure. Well, why would I be there if I didn't?
All right. So everywhere I go, and if you followed me anywhere or you've attended any of the workshops, you know we're going to watch this video, and I think we've watched it well over 300, 400 times in the last 10, 15 years of Teamwork World. Why? Because that's the way collaboration works. There's a structure, and if you notice some of the key elements that he pointed out, okay? There are roles well defined, there's a structure, there's an attitude about collaboration, there's certain goals that you have to have about collaboration, and you have to have extraordinarily really good facilitated meetings. All right, so in the next segment, we're going to break this down and we're going to look at what does it mean by the roles, what does it mean by the structure, what does it mean by the attitude, all right? And you cannot miss this. This is one of those segments, this is one of the shows that I would say you're a manager, you lead a team of 10, you need this. If you're a company that leads 500, you need this. All right, we'll come right back. Go to my website, teamworldworld.com, or go to my YouTube channel. This video will be uploaded next week in YouTube channel, or subscribe to it, or call me at 505-2823 or 772-HELP.